Have you ever wanted your own TV show? Have you dreamed of showcasing your talent for the world to see? Well, now you can. Have your own TV show. You can have your own 30-minute show. Not only will you be seen in the Detroit area, but you can be viewed worldwide. Be seen on WHPR Detroit Live, Comcast Cable Channel 91, on the web at TV33WHPR.com, with the TV33 app, on Roku, Google TV, Apple TV, and on Amazon Fire TV. Act now. Time slots are limited. Sign up today and get a free replay with the purchase of your time slot. For more information, call 313-868-6612. Visit our studios and receive a free TV interview to promote your business, church, or organization by appointment only.
Good morning and welcome to Highland Park Highlights. My name is Rod Liggins, and it's Monday, and we can see a lot of cloudy skies out there. We had a little bit of sun, a little bit of rain over the weekend. It's expected to be in the 70s throughout the week. Today you can expect possibly in the high of 70s with a chance of a rain shower. We want to make sure that you're up to speed on today's newscast. So let's look at what some of the headlines are going on. We know that the city, the state, and even the nation has been talking about getting vaccinated. So we want to make sure folks are making sure they're getting out and getting vaccinated, because we know the COVID-19 vaccine saves lives. The effort to vaccinate should be one of the rare things that brings all of us together. But for some reason, it has been polarized in recent days and months. The vaccination rates by state show that even the race to protect people from the coronavirus has fallen along familiar political lines. If you take a look at the states that are leading the way for adults 18 years or older with at least one dose of the coronavirus vaccines, of the top 25 states in terms of percentage vaccinated, President Joe Biden won 21 of them in the 2020 election. Just 4 of those states were won by former President Donald Trump last election. Trump won 21 of the bottom 25 states for vaccinations. This includes 16 of the bottom 17 states. Unfortunately, this shouldn't be too surprising. Polling has shown while Democrats were more likely to get vaccinated than Republicans, a new poll shows that 82% said they were vaccinated compared to a mere 45% of Republicans. The stats revealed similar splits between Biden backers and Trump supporters by a span of 82 to 44%. Speaking of those who have gotten vaccinated, as we come a little closer to home, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer issued an apology yesterday after a photo emerged showing her at a restaurant with 12 other people gathered around tables that had been pushed together, which is in a violation of her health department's current epidemic order. The May 15th order from the State Department of Health and Human Services says no more than 6 people can be seated together, and groups or patrons must be 6 feet apart. The conservative news outlet Breitbart first reported the photo Sunday. Throughout the pandemic, I've been committed to following public health protocols, Whitmer said in a statement. Yesterday, I went with friends to a local restaurant, and as more people arrived, the tables were pushed together. Because we were all vaccinated, we didn't stop to think about it. In retrospect, I should have thought about it. I am human. I made a mistake, and I apologize. Again, that was from the governor as a photo had surfaced with her out enjoying a meal with friends. Former Michigan State basketball star Keith Appling, who allegedly fatally shot a relative on the front lawn of the victim's home in Detroit, dropped the pistol when another relative wrestled it away from him and ran away, according to the police report. The Wayne County Medical Examiner's Office said late Sunday they had confirmed that Clyde Edwards, a 66-year-old man from Detroit, was the victim of the fatal shooting. The shooting happened around 7 o'clock on Saturday, and Appling is still on the run, and police are saying he is considered armed and dangerous. Phil Mickelson made history on Sunday, becoming the oldest winner of a major tournament with his victory at the 21 2021 PGA Championship. He finished 2 shots ahead of Brooks Koepka and at Kauai Island's Ocean Course following an excellent final round performance, finishing 6 over for the tournament and winning at age 50. Mickelson surpassed the record previously held by Julius Boros, who won the PGA Tour, the PGA Championship, that is, in 1968 at 48. The victory is the 6th major title of Mickelson's long and storied career, with his previous PGA Championship coming 16 years ago in 2005. As we stated earlier, people are being asked, and Highland Park, we're asking you to get vaccinated. We know that a lot of people are enjoying the warmer weather and they're gathering with family and friends and doing a lot more things outside. But there is still a pandemic going on, and we want to make sure that every resident in this city gets vaccinated. We will always bring you the latest as it relates to sites where you can go to get your vaccines, but for the most part, we want you to go find places that are offering free vaccines. What this means is this is something that should not cost you any money. So if someone wants to charge for that, you want to just go and find other places. You can look this up by either Googling vaccine sites in Highland Park or vaccine sites in Metro Detroit. I know Detroit has a number of community places where people can go and get vaccinated. Now is the time. We know that there have been quite a few folks, over half the state has already been vaccinated, but we want to make sure that everyone in our community takes the time to go out and get vaccinated. This is what we want to do so that families can get together. We know that there are weddings coming up, there are graduations coming up, even with the teenagers going out for senior proms and the college students having their graduation parties. These are reasons why we need to do this, because you don't want an enjoyable family affair to turn tragic because someone failed to get vaccinated. So make sure you make every effort to get yourself vaccinated. And if you are vaccinated, please share that with others, because it's not just about you, it's about those around you and those you care about. So just make sure again that you find ways to get vaccinated soon. And once we hear more vaccination sites coming directly to Highland Park, you can believe Highland Park Highlights will be reporting that. That being said, when we come back after this break on Highland Park Highlights, we have a special guest, and we're going to talk about how you can beautify your block, beautify your home, and beautify your neighborhood. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Can I ask you a question? Why did you get vaccinated?
Be able to hug my mom again. I haven't been able to hug her in over a year. She's 92 years old and is in a nursing home. Thing is, she has dementia too, so it makes it hard. Window visits, that doesn't get it. You know, I miss my mom. I'm vaccinated. I'm coming to give you a big hug. I love you, Mom.
I'm joined today by Maureen Taylor and Louis Pisker to let you know about a new financial empowerment center located in the Wayne County Treasurer's Office.
Do you know someone, family or friends, that need help with finances? Do you know people having trouble making ends meet, especially with property taxes or other payments? The Detroit Financial Empowerment Center can help. Treasurer Sabri invites you to visit the new Financial Empowerment Center, 400 Monroe, on the 5th floor in downtown Detroit.
We've partnered with the Wayne County Treasurer's Office and the City of Detroit to provide free one-on-one financial counseling to help you address problems related to utility bills, property or income taxes, credit repair, and other financial matters. Our professional counselors can also help you plan your monthly budget and increase your credit score.
This service is available to all Wayne County residents. For free and private financial counseling, contact the center at 313-322-6222 and make an appointment today.
Last year we played with no fans, just quiet, empty stands.
It wasn't the same. We want you all in the game.
So step up to the plate
and make sure you're safe.
Want to take a swing at COVID-19?
Get your vaccine.
The COVID vaccine is safe and effective, and it's available now.
Good morning and welcome back to Highland Park Highlights. I'm your host, Rod Liggins, and I have a special guest with us today, none other than Highland Park City Council member Devlon Jackson. I want to say first, good morning and welcome to the show again.
Good morning again.
Glad to have you back. And we're talking about beautification. Now, over the few weeks and months I've been doing this show, I've been able to talk to the viewers, and they know I'm a big fan of HGTV, which is known as Home and Garden Television. I want to find any way that can make my house pop, make my house stand out, not by wild, outlandish colors, but there are things such as wild and colorful plants you can put out. And we were just talking before about ways that you can even brighten up a house simply by cleaning it. But let's first talk about what's going on in Highland Park by way of beautification.
Well, we are having a Let's Clean Highland Park Day, and I'm calling it a Highland Park Rejuvenation Day.
Okay.
Because in order to really rejuvenate your city, it has to be a clean city. And I've been around the country looking at various cities, and I'm very impressed by what we have here in Michigan. I compare our city to places like Birmingham when I look at the shape of it. But when I look, the main difference is our city needs to be cleaned from the cracks on up to the corners. And we can beautify this city, especially the Woodward Corridor. I can imagine the Woodward Corridor being so wonderful. When people come through, they see a clean city. There's weed-free around the cracks and whatnot as you come down. And since we do not have a updated city, I can see a wonderful face put on the city through painting or some sort of beautification project that anybody would have, just to make our city really pop when people come through, as opposed to saying, oh my gosh, look at all this blight. But I have ideas to do that, and we just need assistance from the community. People like-minded who want to help, volunteers, anyone who want to help not only the citizens of our community, but help our city look good. So in cleaning up Highland Park, I thought about, well, what about planting? Because when I was a child, my mother always had a garden. And so it's just something that I've always had if I had a spot of land somewhere. And I love vegetables. I don't want to plant anything that I can't eat, but I do plant things like for instance, you could put some beautiful chives in front of your house. They have wonderful purple flowers, and they bloom once or twice a year or more, but they're also good on your potatoes and on your eggs. So, but there's such a wonderful, perfect bloom. And there's other little plants and other little things that have such wonderful blooms on them. And what I found out in my looking at what's edible, I found out that marigolds were edible. So I'm trying to get more information on all the edible plants. Like if you go out in the forest and you see some marigolds or some chives or whatever, you can eat those things. But it's always good to recognize them in your garden. And not only that, there are some people that are moving into Highland Park that are just wonderful folk. They seem to have a really good handle on the gardening thing. And I think that's awesome. It's very synergistic for me because that folks are coming together and want to beautify this city. I think it's an exciting thing. And on June 12th, we're going to do the highlights of that. We're going to have dumpsters all over the city. Hopefully, my goal is to have 25. I don't know if I'll reach my goal, but I'm going to try. If there's any business who wants to have a 40-foot dumpster donated for our purposes of cleaning our wonderful city of Highland Park, I'm all for it. And if they can just contact Mr. Willie Faison, or they can email me at djackson@highlandparkmich.gov. Let's beautify our city. Let's make it look like a place where you want your children to live, work, and play, and also walk around and look very nice. I notice on certain streets we have a lot of businesses. I'm just asking, just this one time, maybe even once a year or maybe twice a year, if you could just get those weed whackers and get those tumbleweeds out of the parking lot. You know, I thought I was in the Old West one day. A tumbleweed come after me. I thought I had to run, you know.
Well, that's what we want to talk about. So let's start first, because we've always heard that charity starts at home.
Yes, sir.
So when we're looking at things at our house, the first thing we want to do is just make sure that everyone's yard is free of trash and debris. If it's time for trash, you put it out and you put it in a way where it can be picked up. But we also want to make sure that the lawns are well kept. That's one thing when you drive up and down the streets in Highland Park. There are some beautiful houses, there are some beautiful, enormous houses, and they have these great landscape lawns and bushes, and it takes effort to keep that up. But the basic is keeping it clean and keeping it cut. And as you stated before, we can beautify it with a variety of different plants and flowers, and even gardens where you can just see a variety of both produce and floral gardens. Let's talk about the ways that we can look out for our neighbors, because I remember I have 3 brothers, and the focus for us was we didn't just cut our yard, we went and cut Miss Ferguson's because she was elderly and she lived alone, so we wanted to make sure her yard looked as well. Let's talk about how the community or the block can get involved with the beautification process.
Well, I am happy to say that a lot of the block clubs and people is really being synergized. In fact, a couple of folks were out doing their yards, and some neighbors helped them, you know, cut their shrubberies and bushes. And I think that's a wonderful thing, and we need volunteers to help our neighbors if they have some furnishings or things in their homes and they're too weak to bring it out. Maybe we can have some neighbors who know these people help carry their rubbish out to the front yard. It might be too heavy for them. And I know as I get older, I know I might need help too. But there's always room for everybody to at least give a start and help your neighbors. And on that June 12th day, we will need volunteers because we want to make sure that our elderly are served. And also, I found out through Willie that you can put 3 big items out every week along with your trash so it doesn't build up in your house. And the good thing about what I'm finding out is, Rod, is that I'm noticing, I'm riding all over Highland Park, and I'm watching people, they're starting to clean up. They're starting to take pride in Highland Park, just like we used to do. I know I went to Highland Park High School, and we used to say the Park of Pride all the time, but with the polar bear and this and that. But these are the main things. You have to have pride in your neighborhood for it to stay looking good. If you don't have any pride, no one else is going to come there and help your neighbors.
And that's the thing I want to pounce on, because this is something that is needed by both young and old and people of all ages. If folks are going around, they come out of the party store, or they stop the ice cream truck and grab something, and the minute they've opened up whatever that package is, the wrapper's tossed on the ground, the bag is tossed on the ground, whether it be a bag of chips, even bottles of pop or cans of pop. And even for the adults, we see beer cans. And we have those who choose to just, when they're done with it, and we have just garbage dispensaries throughout, meaning garbage cans
everywhere.
Easily you can put that into the trash, or at least hold on to it until you get home. These are just some of the ways that parents can encourage their children, because the children are going to emulate us. So if they see us going out and, okay, this is an empty cigarette pack, toss it out the window.
Right.
If I have bought something to eat and I'm done eating it, there's the bag, the wrapper, and the napkin, just toss it out the window or toss it on the ground. These are some of the habits that we have to recreate, because some of us have taken it for granted that somebody else is going to clean it up. But like you said, after a while, you start to see it pile up because no one, and I'll say this, for 2020, I can tell you personally in my house, because I didn't know much about the pandemic, I wasn't going to get out there and spend a lot of time outdoors, because you didn't know how severe the coronavirus was and whether it would be airborne or not. And when you're out there working in your lawn or in your backyard, it gets hot. And when you're wearing that mask and doing things like that. So I think people are coming out now with an extra energy to really beautify their lots. I've seen folks when I go to the hardware stores, it's primarily about their exterior of the house. They're getting fertilizer. They're getting the soil to fill in the dead patches. They're getting flowers to beautify it. And that's the thing I was just saying when we were talking. I want to get a power washer because I need to clean my house. And you start to notice these things. But it is about pride. It is about when you look at your house, is it the best you can do with it? And I want to also talk, we're not talking about going out spending like $10,000 or $8,000 to beautify. We're talking about a few bucks for some plants. I saw a great power washer that someone had on sale for like $90. And it's just those kinds of things. And I even had my neighbor, when I was talking to her about it, she said, oh, we have one. You can borrow it. And that's the thing that I liked about even working on your house and then your neighbor's working on hers or his, and you can share these things. You can share the tools. You'll take care of and respect it and make sure you know how to work it. But we're talking about shovels and rakes and things of that sort. So let's get back to the June 12th date, because I want to talk more about that specifically. What can people expect for that date, that day of service in the community?
Okay, well, we have a lot of things happening that day, and particularly I'm going to have my headquarters basically at Cottage Grove in Woodward.
Okay.
And at that time, we're going to start about 9 or 10 in the morning. I'll be there really early. We're going to have a little tent up. And we're going to have plant swapping. So if you want to get started with the garden, come up and get a plant. Or if you have too many in your yard, like some people have all these daylilies. I got a bunch of chives and a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm just going to bring those things up and just leave them out. I'm just put the roots in a plastic bag.
Okay.
Tie them up good. We'll probably have buckets of water so that we can, keep things wet.
I want to stop there because I want us to take a quick break, because that was the thing I wanted to talk about. It's not just the exchanging, but there's a process that you want to make sure you're doing so that when you get home, because I may not be able to plant them right away. So we want to talk about preparation. We want to talk about the ways folks can get their yards ready to beautify. So be sure to come back with us. We'll be right back in a few minutes after this break.
Can I ask you a question? Why'd you get vaccinated?
My best friend couldn't. She caught COVID and passed away the day before her birthday. That is my why. Kim was a sunshine. Miss her dearly. I strongly, strongly recommend that everyone, especially in the city of Detroit, go get the shot. Kim Porter, I got this for you, girl. You may be gone, but you're not forgotten.
Got your lifetime supply of Viagra right here. Give me that. How dare you open my package? Hey, what you doing with all them pills for anyway, old? Oh, man, I ain't never took you as a sucker for them pharmaceutical companies. Always trying to sell you some synthetic chemical that don't do nothing but make you sicker. Now, this right here, this all the medicine I need.
What is that? Is that Divine Relief?
This is all the medicine I need.
Divine Relief Rubbing Oil. Available at Super Kelly Beauty Supply, Healthwise Enterprise, Hollywood Beauty Supply.
Can I ask you a question? Why'd you get vaccinated?
Because I am pregnant and we wanted to protect our baby boy.
To keep my family members healthy and traveling the world.
Why did you get vaccinated?
I believe in the science.
I want a happy, healthy world.
Protect my friends and help our community.
Be able to hug my mom again. I haven't been able to hug her in over a year.
I want to hug my grandma again.
This was a dose of hope.
And I'm ready to get back to somewhat normal. Get the vaccine.
Good morning and welcome back to Highland Park Highlights. We're talking about beautification, and we're not talking about where you have to go out and spend tens of thousands of dollars. Some things you may already have all around your house or in your garage, and we want to show you some ways that you can utilize that. But we want to talk, and we're joined by Highland Park Councilmember Devlon Jackson, and we want to talk about the beautification efforts that's coming up next month. Now, you had just started talking about plant swapping. What is that?
Well, basically, I got it from a friend of mine. My friend Fran. We decided to say, well, a lot of people can't afford gardens. I says, well, sometimes you get a pack of seeds and you only use maybe a few out of the pack, and there's a few more left. So we said, well, hey, we can put those, name them what they are, leave them on a table, and if you want to start a garden, come get some of these. If you need chives or whatever you need, if you have something in your garden that you want to leave, what you want to do is leave a big chunk of dirt around it and tie it in a bag, keep that dirt moist, and then you can take that and with chives, you can separate them individually and plant them because they grow awfully fast if you wanted to create a border.
How long would I be able to keep them in that bag before I reintroduce them to the soil at my house?
Let's see. One day it took me. I couldn't get planted for a couple of days. But long as I had that soil around them and kept them nice and moist, then I got planted and it was no problem. And they regenerate quite quickly.
Now, we were talking about during the break about things that you can use around the house or things in the community, because I know that I was the guy who, if I had a tire that I had taken off from a vehicle, I may want to find another use for it. But you were saying, like, how would you describe you having a used tire by ways of beautifying your property?
Well, one way is my mom years ago, she had a guy beautify a tire in front of her yard. What he did is he cut it up and made it look like a planter.
Okay.
And it looked really nice. And I still plant flowers in there. I don't have the tools to do what he did, and it can be done. However, I went and got some of those tires up there on 6 Mile. And the reason being because I didn't want to spend $50 buying wood. So those tires was free. And I made me some high raised beds. Put with vegetables, tomatoes, and this and that, and I got a few more things I'll be putting them, like greens and cucumbers and that, and I made them out of the tires. What I did was I laid, and you can use every ounce of what you have around your house for weed barriers, because I found that the weed barriers didn't work as good as I liked, the ones that I paid for. So what I did is I used cardboard. I laid it down, I set some dead grass on top of that really thickly, and it's biodegradable, so it's not going to hurt your soil. In fact, everything that goes into your soil is wood anyway, and so that's what paper is. It's wood. So it's biodegradable. Then I took the tire and I filled it up with the grass clippings around the inside edges of that, and then I put my organic soil in there, and you can make your own soil too, by the way. That's a process of putting in organic materials together and just keeping them moist, and you can have your own. You can make your own soil that's not a really organic soil for growing.
Because I've seen in neighborhoods across this city specifically and others where, they've used tires and they've decorated them, they've painted them on the outside, and you would not even know
it was a tire.
Was a tire the way they made it look. And this is what I'm saying about it lets you be creative. And what I wanted to also talk about, this is not about grandma and grandpa creative or mom and dad. This is the teens, the preteens can be involved in this. They can use their creativity, and you can show them how the planting and growing process works. Now, born and raised in Detroit and Metro Detroit, I have Southern parents, one from Kentucky, one from Alabama.
Mine from Mississippi.
Yeah. So we know right away that the planning process is a way of not just beautifying, but for us, it was also a way to survive. Because like you were saying, you can go get a bag of soil from $5 to $10 or make your own.
Right.
You can go to the produce market or wherever and buy these things, or like you said, you can plant a few seeds and a packet that may cost, 8 for $1. And now you've got an entire vegetable garden of everything under the sun that can grow in Michigan's climate.
So basically, on Woodward and Cottage Grove, leave what you got, or pick up something you don't have, a seed or a plant. And if you have a lot, bring them up there. I'm sure someone needs help with the garden, because I don't know if I've been in the store and I bought 4 leaves of greens for $2. Now, you know, us Southerners or people from the South, I have family from the South, they would have had a fit. Because you can't, you know, we like those pots of greens like
Yes.
this. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? We don't want no 4 leaves. 4 leaves is just a sampling or a what we call a taste.
Right. And see, growing up with
So
my mom
$2
had
and
to
that'll be
feed-
you had to have what, $100 at least.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Growing up, my mom had to feed a working husband and 4 grown boys. And we knew that meat wasn't always on the table.
Never.
But we had plenty of the variety of vegetables and some that we had planted and picked. And like I said, you take pride in it because it's yours. You watched it from, like you said, the tilling of the soil, the planting of the seed, the watering of the soil. You want to make sure that there are no critters coming around, and you may put a little, what they call chicken wire around it to keep things out of it. 2-legged and 4-legged creatures.
And
But at
simple
the end of
things
the
like
day-
vinegar and things like
Yeah.
that to distray, that's biodegradable as well and doesn't harm your plants.
And those are the things that we want folks to know, is because they will talk about, well, if I plant this, I'm going to get this. If I plant this, I'm going to get that. You were talking about a way to keep away slugs out of that. Tell us about that process.
Yeah, I had a problem with slugs at one point, and I've had several different ways that old-fashioned gardeners use. One old-fashioned gardener told me, I think he said a teaspoon of vodka in a gallon water, and you spray it over your plants, it keeps the bugs away.
Okay.
And then for the
You
slugs,
sure he wasn't trying to make a cocktail?
he might have been, but I tried it and it worked, and my plants grew bigger for
Okay.
whatever reason. You know, he said the cheapest one you could find. And then another way for the slugs, if you have beer, you can have old stale beer about half as much in a cup or some type of thing, and plant it down in your yard, and the slugs like that, and they'll stay away from your greens.
And they'll
but
go towards the
they'll
beer.
go to the beer.
Wow.
They're like us. They're beer toters.
I'm not mad
Some
at
of
that,
them.
because, like I said, when it's hot, you
but
like
they
to have
get
a
drowned
toss of
in the
cool
beer,
back.
so we don't have to
Exactly.
worry about them.
And see, these, like you said, again, we're talking about, these are natural things, because you go into the store and they have things that'll kill these bugs or whatever, but they got so many
Yeah.
chemicals and pesticides.
I never use chemicals ever.
And you know, and then like I said, people just sometimes, I'll notice that in the stores. Well, I want to taste it, so they grab a few handfuls of grapes or cherries and just eat them, and then I can still just see my mother giving me that look and knocking it out of my hand. Because first she always said that's stealing, but the other thing was, you don't eat something like that you didn't wash. And I'm not talking about and it's done. She would literally put that, submerge that into water, and make sure we clean that, pull it out, let it drain and dry. Then you couldn't put anything that hadn't been washed in her refrigerator.
In fact, you could put a little drop of dish soap
That's
and
what I
just
was-
let it
that's
sit
it.
to
Yep.
get some of those chemicals
Because a lot of fruit has, especially apples, they put that thin wax coating on it, and it's not harmful, but I'm not looking to eat a candle. I want to eat fruit, so I want to be healthy. And that's the thing about it, is you go out of your way to make sure you're incorporating more fruits and vegetables. But if it's not cleaned properly, see, everything can't be like a banana. You can peel off this thick skin to eat the banana. These things are exposed. You take a bite out of a peach, a plum, like I said, cherries and grapes and apples. You know, you peel things like bananas and oranges, but at the end of the day, even those need to be washed, because
the residue.
Right, and you could have them placed with, my mom used to love to put a fruit bowl out, and we could just grab an apple or grab an orange on the way out the door, as long as we did not waste it. So these are just some of the things that we can do at home, and that's what I've noticed during this pandemic. We've been working from home, but you've also seen folks learning what they can do at home to beautify the home, to make it more peaceful, to put plant life in the house, to take out, because a lot of carcinogens in the air, these plants can absorb and act like a home filter. And I know folks that have filtration systems in their homes, and they have things that take out odors. But again, these are machines, and these are costing you electricity, and these, you have to keep changing the filters and things of that sort. And I'm not knocking those who do it, but there are ways to do it naturally. So we want to make being at home and living at home as safe and as enjoyable as possible. And I think when you can also beautify, clean, and keep it looking good, that's pride. Because I know realtors, they'll say when they're trying to sell houses, they always say, you want your house to pop. And I said, what do you mean? And that goes back to, does your yard look like everybody else? Or is your yard worse than everyone else? So there's a variety of things that you can do. Even if you have, now I know I have a small yard in the back, but a portion of that can already be cordoned off for my garden where I want to put in produce, but I can put all kinds of different flowers in the front. So I want to talk again about the ways people can beautify their houses and take pride in it now that they're able to come out, and we're still in the pandemic, but as we get vaccinated, we're doing more things outdoors. I want to talk about things as simple as sweeping at the curb, making sure the grass is cut. And like you said, I've got a mulcher on my lawnmower, so I haven't raked my grass in years. And I tell people that because when you reuse it, like you were saying, in the tire, you reuse it as a way of mulch, and that feeds that soil so that your grass remains green. And we want to just keep making sure we're offering more ideas to the folks who are looking at their house and are saying, well, how can I beautify and make it? So what I want to do when we come back, I want to offer some more ideas to folks in Highland Park and ways they can beautify, make their house greener, and even make that purchase or their desire to have fruits and vegetables right outside their back door. So stay tuned as we come up with more ideas on ways that you can take part in making your house cleaner and greener. We'll be right back.
Can I ask you a question? Why did you get vaccinated?
I got vaccinated because I am 24 weeks pregnant and we wanted to protect our baby boy. And I started hearing stories of people getting COVID and having to give birth alone. Once we talked to my OB, we talked to multiple MDs, and they decided that the best way to protect me and baby was to get vaccinated. We cannot wait for you to come and see all of your family where everyone's safe and vaccinated and COVID-free.
Hi, this is LaWanda.
This is RJ Watkins.
Coming to you to bring you some information about the #1 detox in the nation, Lemon Burn. Lemon Burn helps to turn the fat into fit. It's for you, a happier, healthier you. Because you know healthy is the new beautiful. An all-natural way to improve your health. It promotes a healthy digestive system, attacks and reduces belly fat, as well as gives you energy. Need to get yours today. Call 313-868-6612.
Don't forget to exercise and eat right.
We at Watkins Broadcasting care about the health and safety of our viewers and listeners. During this novel coronavirus pandemic, please protect yourself and others. Wash your hands well and often. Avoid touching your face. Cough and sneeze into your sleeve. Practice social distancing. Stay at least 6 feet away from others when in public and only leave the house when it's essential. Stay safe. You are important to us.
Good morning and welcome back. We're here talking with Councilmember Jackson, and we're talking about beautification and the efforts that go into beautifying a house. And this is not just making your house beautiful, but this can be a real activity. We were discussing how during the year of 2020, we were dealing with COVID-19. And I was telling her that in 2021, we're dealing with the COVID-19 pounds that we put on while we're staying indoors and staying socially distant, and we're not as active last year as we had been in years past. But Councilmember, let's talk about how active that is. This is not something you can just stand around and do. You're going to be bending up and down. You're going to be digging into the yard and doing things. this is a real active opportunity.
And see, and that's important because most of us are very sedentary. And myself, I'm not really, maybe I'm just high strung, but I ride bikes and I do a whole lot of other things. I play tennis, I play golf. I challenge myself to activities because as you move, you have to move more. And I learned that a long time ago from a doctor I had. I'm not going to say her name, but she says you got to move. You can't just sit around. So when you're out in that garden, I'm telling you, I'm lifting like some of those bags of dirt are 50 pounds.
Yes.
So you're getting a lifting weight out, and the way you lift is from your knees up. And that's how you maintain. And as you do that, your balance gets better and better. And not only that, you're able to do more weight-bearing work, which is what they say as you get older, you should have more weight-bearing and you should have more cardiovascular. And when you're gardening, you're moving, you're constantly moving, you're constantly getting that weight, and you're constantly getting that cardiovascular because you're moving your arm and the longest bones in your body, which is your legs.
And the things that we want folks to understand is this is actually an act of exercise. And the way you prepare for that is you got to stretch. You got to warm yourself up because you go out and you just start, like you said, there are times when we know bending at the knees, but after a while you start bending at your back because you're just tired of that squat position. And
you got to remember, your stretching starts when you get up in the morning. As soon as you get out the bed, you should be stretching or pulling your back forward, going backwards, raising your legs and pulling them forward with a belt if you have one, just so you can get that, get that pull and get that your muscles moving and stretching them out before your foot hits the floor.
Everything we're talking about, the entire family can get involved in. Now, our older or senior members of our houses may not be able to do and get down as much as the younger folks, but I saw my neighbor, he had these knee pads, and I just remember my mom, she would keep these old towels that we would use for a variety of things to clean up, but those, if you fold that sucker up a few times and it's thick enough, you kneel on that, it's like kneeling on a cushion. And there's some of the ways that it can make the job easier so you're not, when you're getting up, when you're going down, it's more of a comfort, and you want to be able to feel good. Because like we said, you're out there in the sun, and we're not asking you to stay in the blazing heat, but you're getting that vitamin D naturally. You're not going to get some man-made pill that you have to take because you're out. And again, last year, I know there was a lot of vitamin D deficiency because people just were not outdoors, or they weren't out long enough to absorb that naturally. And I found that the sale of supplements were going through the roof, as well as those who thought there were supplements that would protect them from the virus, which turned to be false. But what we're saying is you can get activity, and you don't have to put everything out in one day. And that's what I'm going to tell folks. You can say, okay, today I'm going to do flowers. And if it's a weekend, you Saturday for that, then maybe Sunday, I'll put in a couple of bushes. Next weekend, or if you're home and you have the time, okay, we're going to start with the floral garden on one side, the vegetable produce garden on the other. Excuse me, but the things we want to say is this can be something that is continuous, that doesn't have to be a one-stop thing where you feel you have to hurry and rush. And you want to make sure that you read up about the plants, because some things grow well in the shade, some things need direct sunlight, but if you get those crossed, something that's in direct sunlight constantly could end up burning and wilting, and now all that effort and work was for naught, and you have to start over again. So we definitely want to make sure we know what we're planting, and also the things that are planted, because I remember we had a dog growing up, and he used to love to be in the plants, but I remember around Christmas, my mom would put out these poinsettias, these beautiful red plants, but poinsettias, actually poison is in that word, and if it's consumed, it can be detrimental to both humans and dogs. So you also want to make sure that if you have a family pet or pets, that you do something to keep them away from them, or you just find pet-friendly plants to put out there. But we want to talk about how you can show your children, even your grandchildren, because I know growing up, I think my thumb is way greener now than it was when I was younger because it's me doing it at my house instead of just your mama saying, boy, get over here and dig this up. Da-da-da. And we knew that she didn't want to do it or was unable to do it or didn't. Her main thing was the planning part. So we want to encourage folks this is just another way to be active. I know we talked before about ways at home, but like you said, getting up in the morning, stretching, preparing yourself for this kind of work, because it is work to beautify.
Oh yeah, definitely. But once it's done and then once it's beautified, it's really good. So that's why we, on this June 12th day, we want to make sure everybody, whoever wants to start a garden, come up and talk to us at Woodward and Cottage Grove. We got a couple of experts who do gardens and such, and they'll be more than willing to talk to you.
Now, what times will you be out there from?
We're going to start about 9 o'clock talking to anybody who want to plant and, seed swap and whatever. But the actual activities go from 11 to 5. Okay. We're trying to find volunteers to help bring things from elders' houses down, maybe roll them down to the dumpsters. And we'll have a list of dumpsters possibly next week. Mr. Faison will know how many that we'll have. We're going to have them throughout all 3 districts. And you could talk to your whoever's the head of your district, the council person, and they'll know where the dumpsters are. Hopefully I'll find out from them exactly the places that's needed. We're trying to find dumpsters, areas where there's neighbors who can at least watch over them so that no one else dumps in them besides the people in their community. And they can identify those people.
If you let me know, I can make sure that our viewers and listeners are aware, because like I said, when you coordinate and make it a concerted effort, there's not confusion about, well, I'm just going to leave it out there because I didn't know what the dumpsters were. And I thought if I did this, and we'll make sure that word gets out, because that's the main thing. We want this to be a successful event. Now, what if I come up and I haven't planted anything in years except planting my behind in my recliner at home? Will someone be there that can advise me on how to get started?
Sure, yeah. We'll have a lot of help out there. We'll have a lot of plants too. A lot of folks they want to thin out their plants. So just bring your plants. If you got a good way to start, if you want a nice hosta type garden, because you don't have to do anything with those but plant them really nicely, and every year they multiply.
And those are the ones that come back every year.
And they have beautiful flowers as well.
And
and lilies.
Yes.
Lilies, they come back every day. So if you're not the avid gardener that want these, annuals out, you can do those. You can get some hostas. There's some other plants that you can get to make the front of your house look good.
That's what I've used. I've had a number of those, and I've always sought perennials because no matter what happens,
they're still going to come up.
That next year they could come even stronger. And now that they've had a couple of years of cycling in the soil that I've planted them in, they've even expanded, like you were saying, where you can actually take some away and then put them in other parts of the yard.
If you have extras like that, just bring them up. Maybe some person who's never gardened before, and this will be their first success, getting some hostas, or like I said, I got chives. They grow anywhere, and they make a beautiful flower. And other people have those type of things, and you can have a garden and just have something wonderful to look at, and believe it or not, it improves your mental state to see beauty.
Sure.
It really does.
Sure. Because also you can think about, I'm a visual guy, so if I just close my eyes and envision how I see June 12th taking place, is I'm getting to know my neighbors, because these are Highland Parkers helping Highland Parkers. These are Highland Park folks who have done this. And like you said, if someone is, pardon the pun, green to planting things brand spanking new, and they say, okay, I cut my grass, I water my grass, but I have no other color. Where should I start? I want to do some flowers. What types of flowers? This is where, and that's why I said before, you're saying someone can be there and they can show them a variety of things that are available. And even if they're not here, like you said, someone may bring them up and want to share them with their neighbor. And they may even, let's walk to my house. I'm right down the street.
I know even Mrs. Edie on her block, she said they're going to leave out some plants in the middle there, and anybody can come get them, So a lot of people have extra plants that they just want to thin out their garden.
Okay.
And they can start and have a wonderful garden. And what I would like for that day, we hope that on June 12th we have a lot of volunteers that want to help. And the main thing is, if you know in your neighborhood and you have elders that need help, we don't know them, you know them, so why not help them? And just give them a helping hand. And let us know, and take pictures and put them on Facebook, or any picture that you help someone.
And I think
it'll be fun just to share these activities on June 12th.
If you can take pictures before, during, and after, because that's what really sells on these HGTV shows.
Right.
They show the house, it just looks this bland lawn. It had burned spots. It had no other vegetation, and whatever was growing was full of weeds and things like that. But you see that. Now, they have 30 minutes, but we know that it took them some days to get that lot or that property to look as beautiful as it is. So we want people to know it's going to take work, but this is not something that you have to look at as, oh man, it's going to take me weeks, and it's going to take me. We're talking about a few afternoons, and you, like you said, if you do it in the morning, you're done before that noon hits. I mean, the sun is at high noon. If you want to wait until the sun starts to go down, you still have longer days where the sunlight is still out, but it's not beaming down on you. Either way, it works best. So we just want to encourage this beautification effort. And like you said, this may be once a year now, but this may be something we want to look at a couple of times a year, because there are things that you can do for your lawn as you get into the colder months. And I know that everyone wants to keep weeds away, but you don't have to always use chemicals.
No.
So it's good that you can share ideas of naturally keeping bugs and slugs and anything that could cause insects to eat up your, because it's one thing to put all these things out, especially when you talked about collard green leaves. Those are the biggest leaf greens that I've seen. You know, the kale is kind of curly, but it can hurt your heart to see these holes.
Big old holes.
Yes. And things that have come out that have eaten through, because they're going to eat, they're hungry. And that's what they're do. We have to be proactive and make sure we keep it insect-free, bug-free. We make sure that family pets or nearby pets aren't getting, and we know we live in the city, but we still see possum out here. We still see coons or raccoons. We see all types of things, and when they're hungry, they're going to eat.
Absolutely.
So you want to make sure you're protecting it, but you can just really go out of your way to beautify your property. And we don't want this to be a one-time thing.
And the thing about it is that per ordinance, you want your back and front nicely cleaned anyway. Use the full landscape of your property. And from what I understand, you can even use part of the alley. Keep that part clean. And when you have your holidays or family over, you can stretch out and have more thing to use, more space. Yes. But you want to, and then plus you want to keep your back and front and alley clean, because of it'll keep down the rodent population.
Yes.
And that's a big problem sometimes. I noticed back in the day, people would have different, like I know some places there's cars and scattered trash and such. Those things bring on various rodents. They have places to hide. So what you want to do is keep your property free and clear, and you don't have those issues. Keep it weed whacked. Just like for the cleanup. If you have time to come out and volunteer, please do. We would love to see the old high school site up there on Woodward to be cleaned and presented and cut. And I'm trying to push for whatever places that I see, so that when people come down Woodward, it looks nice. And if we can beautify Woodward, maybe there's some other things that maybe the mayor and city council can look forward to doing, just to make our city as a throughway, so that when we go from 6 Mile to downtown, people say, oh wow, it's really clean.
And that's the thing you want. You
that's
want
what you
things
want.
to catch folks' eye, and nothing catches them more than a burst of color or a burst of something that looks well put together. When you were speaking about having family over, we know that Memorial Day is just around the corner, July 4th. And like I said, we're having graduation parties,
Yes,
and
you can
things of that
you
sort.
Can pop. You can really
if
pop.
you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Right.
And this is how you can get your lawn ready, both in the front and the back. Like you said, you're beautifying the entire property. And it's going to start one house at a time, one curb at a time, one block at a time. But it's going to spread.
But can anybody remember this? I remember back in the day when we were well, I didn't know we were poor. My parents didn't present it as if we were poor. They just presented that they want things clean. But we didn't have any grass. We had dirt. So they made us sweep the dirt. But it made sense because, we're the ones who littered it with all of our candy wrappers.
Exactly.
So we had to do that.
Now is where we're getting a little more wiser. We're more productive with how we are. We've become better caretakers of our properties. And the idea is there are folks, especially seniors, that I've talked to, and they'll tell, oh, I would love to have those marigolds planted out. I just can't do it. Oh, I would love to just be in my lawn and do these things. I am excited, and I know we're out of time, but I want to first thank you for coming on, and you've been an exciting guest. You brought a lot of energy and ideas. Can you briefly, one more time, tell us about the event for July 12th? We got about 30 seconds. June 12th. I'm sorry.
Well, June 12th. We just want everybody to come out. If there's businesses, please come out. Donate dumpsters. Let us know. We just want to beautify our city. We want to clean Woodward Avenue from ken to kank, as my mother would say. Okay. And I'm so thankful for Chief Coney and the mayor for putting together great ideas, and of course Chief Hollowell and his crew as well. Those are really good guys, and a special thanks to Willie.
Is there a number they can call if they want more information?
If you want more, just call my number. Basically, I would say text because I am very, very busy. It's 313-510-3462, and I'll get back at you. But like I said, texting is better. I don't always answer my phone because I'm usually in the middle of either cleaning or doing something, and I do take care of Mom very well. And I just hope and pray that all of us come together as one and clean up Highland Park. Rise, Highland Park. Rise up. It's time to clean. It's time to get down.
And we want to thank you again, Councilmember Jackson, for coming on. Highland Park, thanks for joining us for Highland Park Highlights. Have a great week. Have a great Monday, and we'll see you next week.
And have a good day.